Self-driving cars are undoubtedly the future. And while they're not here yet, self-steering vehicles are much closer to reality. And today, Cadillac Super Cruise can do just that. This video is going to be completely hands-off by design. So what is Super Cruise? Super Cruise is a General Motors exclusive technology that allows for hands-free driving in certain and specific situations and only on certain roads. It's not a full self-driving solution, but it does provide hands-off-the-wheel driving when the right conditions permit. Engaging Super Cruise is as easy as turning on the adaptive cruise control, setting your speed, centering yourself in the lane and waiting for the steering wheel in the gauge cluster to illuminate white, and then hitting the Super Cruise button. And when the light on the top of your steering wheel turns green, Super Cruise is engaged. You can take your hands off the wheel, and now your vehicle is self-steering itself down the road. So the benefit of Super Cruise is that I don't have to keep my hands on the steering wheel. This Escalade will continue down the road, steering itself in the center of the lane as long as we are on a Super Cruise compatible road, which this highway that I'm on is for the next dozens and dozens of miles. So that should be no problem. The enhanced version of Super Cruise, now that GM is providing on this 2021 Cadillac Escalade, adds another feature that you can change lanes with the simple use of the stock. So we're going to let a few vehicles pass us here and give it a shot. By simply pushing the stock over, the vehicle will evaluate the conditions of the road and if there's enough room, and will change lanes automatically for you with no intervention and no touching of the steering wheel required. All right, so we've been traveling down the highway about a dozen miles so far with Super Cruise active, and I gotta say, it's a little interesting. I mean, I have never traveled down the highway without my hands on the steering wheel before, and to give up control of the vehicle and allow it to do its thing takes a certain level of trust, and it's not exactly something that you're going to get in your vehicle and be able to give it that full trust right away. But after some time using the system, I have to admit it's getting easier and easier to allow it to do its thing without feeling like I have to be ready to take control at a moment's notice. Now, just because you don't have to have your hands on the wheel doesn't mean you don't have to pay attention. In fact, Cadillac has designed Super Cruise so that you do have to pay attention, and it knows if you're paying attention. Up on the steering wheel, there is a small camera that is reading your facial expressions and position at all times. And if you cover that camera up so it can't see your face, the system quickly becomes not very happy. The green light is flashing on the steering wheel. It wants to be able to see and make sure that I'm looking straight ahead. If you do it long enough or become incapacitated, the vehicle will actually slow to a stop and call OnStar for emergency services. As I travel down the road with Super Cruise engaged and my hands completely off the wheel, it's easy to see the system making minor adjustments as we go through a corner and down straightaways, but it's nothing too severe. The system is just making minor adjustments to make sure that we are always perfectly centered in the lane. And from a driver's perspective, while you can see the wheel moving back and forth from time to time, it's not anything that would make a vehicle behind you suspicious or look like you weren't driving with care. So all in all, Super Cruise is doing a great job of providing a seamless driving experience without my intervention at all. Even the state police don't care. So you've seen enough and you want to get Super Cruise on your next vehicle. Well, as of right now, it's only available on Cadillacs, but it's coming to other General Motors vehicles in the near future. Later this fall, it will debut on the GMC Hummer EV truck, And next year, the 2022 GMC Sierra Denali will also have Super Cruise. It costs around $2,500 and is a subscription service, but you get the first 3 years free, and General Motors hasn't yet announced what that subscription charge will be. But if you do have it equipped on your vehicle, it will be self-updating as new features and roads are added, and eventually you'll have to pay for the privilege to use it. So would I pay to use Super Cruise? Well, admittedly, the system is brand new, and I think it's great that GM is offering the first 3 years for free when you buy a new vehicle, because this could use a little bit more work. I think we need some more time for the company to flush out all of the features, but as something that you have as an extra cost option when you purchase a vehicle and is free for a limited time after, it's a compelling argument. I mean, if you take long trips every day, or you're on large stretches of highway for long periods of time, having Super Cruise enabled is actually a really nice luxury and allows you to take a sip of coffee or adjust the radio in ways that you could never do if you had your hand on the wheel. GM has mapped out over 130,000 miles of roads in the US and Canada and are adding new roads all the time. Roads that are marked as Super Cruise compatible have been measured out in detail via LiDAR, cameras, and GPS measurements. That data is compiled and uploaded to Super Cruise equipped vehicles and used to provide an accurate position of the vehicle on the road. So now that we've gotten a few miles under our belt without our hands on the wheel, let's talk about if Super Cruise is a good product and whether or not you should buy it on your next vehicle or your next truck. So it's, for one, Super Cruise has a lot of engineering in it. It is super obvious that General Motors has invested a lot of money in building a safe, technologically advanced, and super luxurious feature that I actually, the more time I spend behind the wheel not touching the wheel, the more I enjoy it and get used to it. But whether or not it's worth it for you, let's say you're thinking about getting a 2022 Sierra Denali and you want to know, should I select Super Cruise as an option? Well, that's up to you. Take a look at General Motors Super Cruise compatible roads and find out, are you going to be using them on a daily basis? Are they a part of your daily commute? If that answer is yes, then I would say seriously consider it. But if you want to buy Super Cruise to be just a gimmick that you show your friends and you have to search out Super Cruise compatible roads, maybe you're going to want to wait a little bit of time until the system functions on not just interstates and divided highways. So at the end of the day, it's a great technology that really shows where we're going and the direction that General Motors is investing their money in regards to self-driving vehicles, and it makes me super excited about the future. I can't wait to drive more Super Cruise enabled vehicles. I'm Zane Merva, driving hands-free down the highway from GM-Trucks.com, and I'll see you next time.